Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. I'm Sean,
And I'm Missy.
and we are both fresh from the theater. Uh, Missy in Chicago, me in Clarksville, Tennessee, seeing It's a Wonderful Knife. And as much as I do not care for, Halloween's over, and the very next day you wake up and the Christmas music's on everywhere you go, and fucking Christmas shits everywhere. And I like Christmas. I, I did as a kid. I didn't for a
I
long
don't.
time. I, I like Christmas. My girlfriend Kirsten really like reinvigorated something in me a couple years ago. I do like Christmas, and I have a bunch of Christmas movies I watch every year. They range from the '40s up to modern day, and I don't like as much as Halloween. But anyway, but as much as I don't like that shit, and Halloween is barely in the grave, uh, this is a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas slasher. And Missy, tell me how you feel about it because I loved it. I thought it was just great.
I also loved it. And I'm your natural opposite because I don't like Christmas. I'm a Grinch.
Right.
Um, Me being festive, one of the only things that I do like about the holidays are holiday horror movies because I'm
Hmm.
big on festive movies for every season, and there are several that I just watch yearly at their proper times of year. I mean, Santa's sleigh and Krampus is about as festive as I get, and Gremlins.
Nice.
And I'm still unhappy that Halloween is over and it's mid-November and I'm already getting just bombarded with Christmas bullshit. So, I mean, I didn't know anything about this movie, and I did realize that it had a similar name to It's a Wonderful Life. Um, which I'm familiar with because it's my mom's favorite holiday movie. Um, but when I looked it up, it didn't mention anything about being about Christmas. Just kind of the what would happen if you didn't exist premise. So I wasn't even sure if it was a Christmas movie. I mean, within the first 10 seconds, you know it's a Christmas movie.
Right.
And I kind of rolled my eyes like, oh God, I'm not in the mood for this yet. Um, Within about 10 minutes, I was all in. This is one of the funnest movies I've seen in the theater this year. Um, I have a feeling it'll end up in my top five because it's delightful. It's a really good time. We found out it was written by the same dude who did Freaky, which I also love. Um, it merges it merges Christmas and slasher very well, and while it does have a little bit more of that squeaky Hallmark holiday stuff than I'd like, it didn't ruin it for me. I mean, I still had a really good time with it. Um, they give I really like the slasher costume without what it is. I thought that it was a nice plan while still being eerie. It has an eerie look to it. Um, it's funny. It's got good gore, and I mean, and it has a sweet underlying story. Like
It
I
does.
really, really dug it.
It does. So we're gonna do as advertised, no spoilers. I could talk the fuck out of this movie right now since we both just
Oh
left
yeah,
the
for
theater.
sure.
But so it is written by Michael Kennedy, who did Freaky. Directed by Tyler McIntyre, who did, I think, probably most famously directed Tragedy Girls, which I have not seen, but he also wrote Five Nights at Freddy's, which I know you have seen. I have no interest in, but I know it's big right now. It's made, I don't know,
Right.
something like $200
Um.
million.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I did see Five Nights at Freddy's. A friend of mine really wanted to see it, so we watched it on Halloween. I have no background with those games. I mean,
It's
it's
Showbiz
good gateway
Pizza.
horror.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's Showbiz
but
Pizza
it's not
as
as
a
good as Willy's. I love Willy's Wonderland. It's not. It's not as good as Willie's,
Right. I
in my opinion. I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's person. I have no experience with it. So I'm
right.
not knocking it. It's not for me. I like Willy's Wonderland better. Um, and wait, what was the other movie you mentioned?
He directed Tragedy Girls, which
Oh,
I have
Tragedy
not
Girls.
seen.
Okay.
I
I have
know
not either. I want to. It's on my list, but I had not seen that one yet.
um I know a lot of people that like that movie quite a bit. I just have not seen it. But this It's a Wonderful Knife also stars Jane Widdop, who I had looked up and I forgot the whole time. So I'm sitting there like I know who this is. I just can't remember. It's Laura Lee from Yellow Jackets.
Laura Lee.
Um,
Hmm.
Jess McLeod, Joe McHale, Catherine Isabel from Ginger Snaps. She was
I was
great.
so excited to see her.
Oh, Aunt Gail, loved it. She was great in the role
Loved it.
too.
Hmm.
Justin Long, who's starting to look a little bit like Tim Allen to me, or at least in this movie he did. um, and the uh, the other person I recognized right away from Influencer, Cassandra Naud. I don't know if I'm
Uh-huh.
saying her name right, but she's got a supporting role.
Yeah, she was Aunt Gail's girlfriend.
Yeah. But I knew nothing. I This was at Beyond Fest and we didn't go. It was one of those where it was like, should we try? And then it was just like a small window. I was like, the
Oh, so
traffic,
you
fuck it.
chose wrong twice.
Yeah.
You
Well,
went to
no.
VHS instead.
The thing at Beyond Fest is there you don't really choose wrong because I don't remember if
Okay.
it was you for me, I can't see it all. So it's I just pick, whatever. So I knew nothing about this. But yeah, I'm gonna so looking at my Regal here in Clarksville after today, starting tomorrow. So this will go up Friday, the 10th of November. So as of Friday, the 10th of November, in Clarksville at the Regal, this is going 5 showings a day. And it's doing that until next Thursday, where it drops down to 12:35 p.m. showing. But so you got about a week. I'm going to tell people go see this movie. Like, it's if you liked Totally Killer, you'll like this. I don't think it's as good, but
Yeah.
it's similar. It's very similar. I don't want to say it's not as good, but it just, whatever. Like it was still great. If you liked
Hmm.
Freaky, you'll like this. It has this very similar tone. I think a lot of people will be pleased with it. And it, like you said, it's
Happy
fun.
Death Day too. It's got
Yeah,
Happy Death Day vibes, kind of.
it does, but I don't know. I liked the first one. The second one I hated so much I turned it off, and
Oh, I hate the second one, but I
it
love the first one.
it just made me. I'll have to revisit the first one. I mean, yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
you're right. If you liked that, the thing is, I don't want to put people off if they didn't like it. So
Hmm.
I'm on the fence
Right.
there, and I really like this. But yeah, and it's really interesting. I don't even want to go into. So one of the things, the only thing I read was that it was something of an attempt to take the Hallmark holiday movie, of which I have like no experience. The only thing in recent memory I can tell you that I have seen that would be considered a Hallmark holiday movie is The Happiest Season with Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis, because my girlfriend watched
Oh
it and
God, that sounds awful.
no, it was fine. It's not my cup of tea, but it didn't make me want to blow my brains out like most of those movies would. Um, but yeah, so it's that plus slasher. So, you know, I feel like it was a cool, and it could have just been any other Christmas slasher, but I feel like by doing that, it gave it its own unique identity. Because nothing against
Hmm.
Christmas slashers, but there's a shit ton of them. We should do an episode in a week or two and just do favorite holiday horror movies. Because there are a ton, especially
There
slashers,
are lots of them, and
lots of them.
yeah, and I love those. I said I have slasher movies for pretty much every season.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen quite a few. Some I'm fine with. Some I like Dial Code Santa or whatever the fuck it's called. That the guys from Project
Yeah,
Exploitation.
File Code Santa.
If you listeners, if you have not checked out Project Exploitation, the podcast I did a crossover with a couple weeks ago, check out their episode on Dial Code Santa. I always want to say Dial Code Satan. But I like that one quite a bit. And then other than, there's just, I mean, Krampus is a given, right?
Mhm.
But it's almost its own thing. Gremlins,
Gremlins, I always do, and Santa's Sleigh. And I was happy that this was a unique new
yeah,
slasher and not a Santa slasher. And
yeah.
I like Santa slashers. I I just like slasher movies. Um, and so I was really happy that it was something unique, and it's actually something I hate. My mom has a collection of them, and they're creepy as fuck.
What the
All these little weird porcelain figures
I didn't
that
know what that
it's
suit
what
was at
the trailer
first.
is supposed to. Oh, that's what it is. I can tell you more off because I don't want to blow it.
No, no,
Because
no,
I
no,
didn't
no.
figure it out till about halfway through the movie what it actually is.
Okay, okay.
So
Same, same. So I wasn't sure if it was obvious or whatnot, so I'll edit around that. But yeah, but I don't know. I would definitely encourage people to go see this movie. I think it was a super good time. And I'm gonna go back next week because now like here's it and go and she's like, oh my God, I want to see it now. And I'm like, all right, let's go next week. Look, it open wide. So we'll go, I'll see it a second time. I'll be fine with it. I had a good time.
that's awesome. I'd love to do that. I will not be able to because usually my movie days are Sunday are my days off.
Yeah, right.
And so next Thursday I see Thanksgiving.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait. I can't
I
wait. Well,
cannot wait for that one.
we will definitely be back with a review of Thanksgiving because I know
Oh, for sure.
I've known Ray as long as I've known Ray, which is since 2006 or 7. I feel like the whole time I've known him, he's talked about wanting that movie to exist, and now it will exist in like a week. So I feel like,
I have felt the same way since Grindhouse came
yeah,
out and we
since
saw that
Grindhouse.
trailer. I
Yep.
you know I wanted it.
And we got Machete, and like, oh, it's Thanksgiving next, and there are always all these rumors about it and whatever, and we finally fucking get it. But so we will be back to cover that, and we'll probably have an episode in between. Any final words about It's a Wonderful Knife?
Yeah. I While it is like a really fun slasher, it has a good feeling to it,
Yes.
and not just we want to force that Christmas good cheer. It's not that because I hate that stuff. It has a really good underlying, like, it's good that you exist kind of
Yes.
energy
Yes.
to it,
Yes.
theme, and I really really like that. Especially since not everybody likes the holidays, and a lot of times it brings up like bad shit for people. And people get really depressed, and it's got like, I like that it addresses that, and it also comes back with, yeah, but you matter.
Yeah.
Like, I that was one of the things that really pushed me from this is fun to I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I agree. And they have the right title. Like
Yeah,
they have the right
that's
title for the movie.
perfect. And I know you love It's a Wonderful Life. I found that a little off-putting because at first I love fantastically not, but I mean I know that especially when the holidays start coming up on me, I get moody and depressed and erratic, and like this kind of just got me. I'm not a crier. It made me cry twice. It's a really good. It's got a good message. It's got a couple of characters you really care about. Um, Paired up with a fun slasher movie, and it's festive. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well said.
if it's in a theater near you and you can go this week, by all means go. It's fucking awesome. It was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite theater viewings so far this year. Like, it was
That's
a good time.
awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. I'm very glad. So okay, well, that's It's a Wonderful Knife, spoiler free. Uh I want to it feels a little light because I want to talk about it, but we won't. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll analyze it more in the future. But until then, or until Thanksgiving, for the Horror Vision Horror Podcast, I'm Sean.
And I'm Missy.
pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20, soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive:
the world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure: murder. From the twisted mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadowplay in Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus.